In this video, I'll be working out some of the homework problems from the section 10.2 worksheet. This is day 3 for section 10.2, and you're going to be working out these problems right here off the worksheet. I have them started on a separate piece of paper here, so I'll go ahead and just move over to my work. But this is going to review section 10.2. So the first problem, number 5, they give you a sequence, and they ask you for the common difference and to find the first 4 terms of the arithmetic sequence. And it might be easier to find the first 4 terms to begin with, then go back and find the common difference. So to find the first term, you're going to take 6 minus 2 times 1. To find the second term, you're going to take 6 minus 2 times 2. To find the third term, you're going to take 6 minus 2 times 3, so on and so forth. And now that I have these terms written out, you can see that they are subtracting 2 every time. In problem number 16, they want us to write out the explicit formula using the first term and the difference, and then they want us to find the 5th term. So let me write out the formula first. For number 16, I'm going to keep it a sub n is equal to the first term plus n minus 1 times negative 1/3. So I would distribute the negative 1/3. And then I would add my like terms together, and the formula would be negative 1/3 n plus, 1 plus a third is 1 and 1/3, which is the same thing as 4/3. And so then the 5th term would be negative 1/3 times 5 plus 4/3. And so I need to get a calculator for that one. So that would be negative 5/3 plus 4/3. Oh, I could do that without a calculator. That would be negative 1/3. So I need that part as an answer, but then they also want the nth term, which is just the formula. Same thing for number 17. Number 17, they give us roots. So I will say that a sub n is equal to root 2 plus n minus 1 times another root 2. I'm going to distribute the root 2. And you'll notice here that I am just left with a sub n equals n root 2. So then the 5th term would be 5 times root 2. So these two things are going to be part of my answer. But what if I wanted to write out the explicit formula, and this is number 26, given 2 different points? There's a couple different ways you can work this out. In ways that I've worked them out previously, I've used systems, but you can just find the slope between these 2 terms. So this will give you the difference. It would be 1 minus 35 over 3 minus 20. And if you do that, you get negative 34 over negative 17, which is 2. So the difference between this arithmetic sequence is the fact that they're adding 2 every time. Now that you have the difference, you can find the first term. You can find the first term a couple different ways. You can plug into the following formula, and you just need to choose one of these points. I'll choose this one. The formula is this. So the nth term I'll call a sub 3. I'm actually just going to plug a 1 in there. I don't know the first term. Now, if that's the third term, for n minus 1, I'd actually put a 2, and then there's another 2 there. So 2 times 2 would be 4, and then subtract the 4, I get negative 3. So now that I have negative 3 as my first term here, I could write out the explicit formula. So let me just double check this with my answer key here. This is number 26. And so I would say a sub n is equal to negative 3 plus n minus 1 times 2. And so then I would distribute and combine like terms. here it is. A sub n is equal to 2n minus 5. And let me check with that answer real fast. So if I plug a 3 in, 2 times 3 is 6. 6 minus 5 is 1. And if I plug in 20, 2 times 20 is 40. 40 minus 5 is 35. So I did my math correctly. I was kind of hesitant about that negative 3, but it does check. All right, and the last one here, number 37, they want us to add these together. And so the formula is S sub n is equal to n over 2 times a sub 1 plus a sub n. The problem is, while I have the first term and the last term, I don't have the n value. I don't have the number of terms. So you could find this in a couple different ways, but I'm going to need another sheet of paper to help me out here. So if I wanted to find the n value, I could plug into this formula first. I know that the last term is 70, the first term is 2, and the difference is 2. They're adding 2 every time. So then if I distribute and combine like terms, n is going to be 35. And now that I know it's 35, I would come back up here and do 35 over 2 times 2 plus 70. And that is going to give you 1,260 for that answer. Now, another way that you could get that 35 without showing a lot of work here is they're counting by 2s. They started at 2, 70 divided by 2 is just 35, but that doesn't always work. This is a surefire way to help you get the n value every time. And that should be enough to get you started here.